Hey, what's up guys? My name is Gray BTC and you're watching Hardcore Crypto. And hey, it's a fantastic day. We have another exciting video here, but before we get started, there's one thing that you have to remember. To make sure that this video you're watching is in 4K resolution, you have to click the subscribe button if you haven't. If you already subscribe to this channel, you have to click the bell button to make sure you're notified. But in overall, you must now smash the like button to get this video started. So smash the like button and let's get this video on right now. Today's subject, we're going to talk about black swans. How can you apply the black swan strategy or the concept or philosophy to your trading, whether you're trading stocks, cryptocurrencies, commodities, whatever you're trading, or you're betting, or you're speculating, or you're investing. So this can be applied in so many other different ways. So we're going to talk about that, but now let me explain what a black swan really is and where it derives from. So the black swan, the word itself, black swan, maybe you know what a swan is, but the black swan in this context was coined by a guy called Nassim Nicholas Taleb. He is a former Wall Street trader, a mathematician, and a probability expert. Right now, he actually don't trade anymore. He just write books and live life because he claims that he had made fuck you money already during his trading days. So I enjoy a lot of his books. I've read The Black Swan itself. I read Anti-Fragile he wrote, and Skin in the Game. All those books, and you guys, I recommend that you check them out. For some of you who would like to ask like, hey, how do you find time to read all these books? I use Audible. I don't really read physically anymore because I don't have the time. So I just listen to books. And these days, there's never been a best time to actually read audiobooks like now. If you want to get into that, the link for Audible is in the description. You can sign up. They give you a free month to try out Audible for free, which you can choose whatever book you want to read and test it out. Anyway, let's move on with the subject. So the concept of the black swan goes all the way back in the day when, right before we even figured out that Australia existed. People had only seen white swans. Typically, everybody thought that, hey, swans are white in color, right? But then eventually when Australia was invented and then the first recorded existence of a black swan was in Australia, that very fact diminished an entire history of knowledge that swans are white, right? Because a black swan exists. So you can never say now that all swans are white. In which is a very good concept or a good point, because you could never say never. Just because you have never seen a pig that flies, you could never say pigs don't fly. Because an existence of one pig somewhere that could fly will already eliminate all your belief system. And whatever concept that you have or your theory or philosophy invalid. So one of the points that Nassim seems to stress is that the fact that the world is much more random than we think, and it's nature for us to try to figure things out or try to make them more explainable, in which black swans are events that can only be explained after the fact, right? Like economic crashes. After it happens, that's when you can explain what happened. Before that, everybody has the narrative and all that stuff, but nobody could actually predict it. But only when it happens, and that's when the analysts come in and say what happened in this and this, trying to look like experts on television. But but before things happen, nobody can explain them. Can you explain that? Could you have explained in 1993 that the internet would change the world the way it is right now? That there will be Instagram. You're gonna be trading markets online. You probably never. Some people would never actually walk into the bank before, or they would never walk into a bank. Probably the new generation, because there's no need for that. Nobody could have thought Bitcoin itself is a black swan, but it is a positive black swan, right? Nobody could have thought that something like Bitcoin could exist. Much like things that will happen next in the next couple of years, nobody knows at all, right? That is why you see a lot of resistance from people still. They're still in disbelief that something like Bitcoin exists, and they can give you so many reasons of why they think it will go away, government will shut it down, and all these other things will happen. Because we already have mental models of how things should work and it must be, and we think we know. Especially in my personal life, if somebody tells me that something won't work or it will go in a certain way because he has an understanding of a certain knowledge, whether it's history or an expert field, that an expertise in a certain field, I call bullshit because you just don't know. So let's go back to Wall Street. During his trading days, Nassim figured out a way to trade and make money in a way that most people couldn't actually figure it out. You know what I mean? And he figured out this concept of fragility, or anti-fragility rather. He noticed that you need to invest in things that gain value in disorder. That means when things are not going right, are not going right in the system, but those things are becoming stronger and stronger, those are the type of things that you should actually be investing in. Even though everybody thinks the opposite way, because as humans, we have the tendency to try to explain things and pretend that we understand them. That is why we have this thing called a lot of common knowledge, if there's such a thing, or our understanding of a lot of things is the same because we have mental models of how we understand the world. And Black Swans actually deviates more from that. So he was making money sometimes, but losing money a lot of times, but his payoffs were much larger than the money that he had lost. So that means that he can make 20 investments and maybe make money on the 21st one. But the money that he made on the 21st investment covers up all the money that he has lost on all those 20 investments, because on the 21st one, it was a Black Swan. So that is a really, really good concept to absorb. And to get back to crypto or Bitcoin, you can see that Bitcoin is something that has been gaining momentum or has been gaining more power as it's being attacked. When the mining companies are being attacked, or the exchanges were being closed in China, and you see that in those spaces or in those areas, that's where Bitcoin is actually thriving even more. So that is the anti-fragility aspect of Bitcoin, for example. Another example would be of marijuana stocks or marijuana investments. Marijuana has been attacked by governments or society as a whole for a very long time. Only now that it's becoming more legalized as we go, and it seems like it's going to be a boom of marijuana stocks. Actually, it already is. So for a lot of people that went into the marijuana business, or they had thought about it and they were like, okay, there's something here, which was counter what the entire society or the big investment companies were investing in. Those people now are making money, right? Because marijuana is becoming more legal, but only a few people could see that coming. Everybody was just, we had this social consensus that marijuana is bad and we don't have to even worry about investing in it. The Winklevoss twins, for example, they made several investments. Well, to begin with, they lost Facebook. They claimed that Mark Zuckerberg stole the idea of Facebook and he took it away from them. They became venture capitalists, invested in a couple of things, but they had a small percentage of their portfolio in Bitcoin, in which later on that small investment that they made ended up overlapping all the money that they had in other investment, because Bitcoin was the Black Swan. It went up so much that it was unbelievable. So it exceeded all the other investments. Then later on, they were billionaires. Now, basically, when you're dealing with Black Swans or how to spot Black Swans, you have to find things that have little downside, but a very high upside, right? So if you have an investment portfolio that say if you invest, you want to take a Black Swan risk, you can say you take 85% of your money, you invest in something that's more stable, more predictable, say things that will exist in the long run, in the traditional finance, for example. And others would say, well, then take 15% or 10% of that portfolio, put it into something like Bitcoin or something much more risky, in the cryptocurrency market or any other market. Because when a Black Swan event takes place, those small investments that you made are more likely to overlap or overtake the other huge investment portfolio that you have, right? Or because it's high risk, it could actually go the other way around. You could lose money, but at least it was a smaller part of your portfolio. Now, lastly, let's talk about how can this be applied in your trading every day, or in investing, or in, say, sports betting. So if you betting into sports, right, say basketball or soccer, let's take soccer for example, or rugby, I was speaking to a friend of mine more the other day that, hey, he was telling me that he has been betting into sports and he wanted to bet into a draw, which is a very unlikely event in rugby. In soccer, it's quite common, right? So when you're betting into rugby, the outcome or the amount of money you make if you get the bet right is humongous, right? But it's high risk because it doesn't happen quite often. So if you had to come and say, okay, I'm going to use the black swan to actually predict in this betting thing, instead of trying to figure out which team is going to win, I'm just going to be betting on draws. Draw, right? Oh, and any game will be a draw. So if you take your money and you distribute it across 20 games, right? You put a little bit of money in all those matches and you keep losing and losing, and you only get one draw, you might actually make up for all the money that you have lost for making all these other bets and made a profit on top of that as well. I hope that makes any sense. In trading, you can say, okay, everybody is bullish on Bitcoin right now. What if I go short? And if you go, you can put a little bit of money, maybe with a little bit of leverage. And you can say, okay, I'll be going short and short and short. You put a little bit of money and leverage, and you can lose so many times. But when you're right and the Bitcoin you crash from $20,000 to $3,000, then you have made a lot of money. And when it comes to investing, you can say, hey, the safest cryptocurrencies to invest in are Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, whatever, the top 5 cryptocurrencies. But then you can go out like we have done on this channel. I can go out and I invested in Ravencoin when it just came out. I could have lost all my money, or I could have made money, right? So if you think of the ICO market in 2017, which made a lot of people money and a lot of people lost money as well, the black swan effect was relevant in that market because only a few made it, but ones that made it are kind of black swans because a lot of them just failed. But it was harder to predict or to sniff which one was it. Much like the future is going to be the same thing, right? Will Bitcoin be that coin that will, as we predict, that it will be the best and the OG of cryptocurrencies that keeps existing, or there will be another one? So we have to be prepared. There will always be a black swan, and the only way you can hedge against it is to be prepared. For example, we had so many forks of Bitcoin. Bitcoin Cash, we have now Bitcoin SV. You don't know which coin will make it to be the actual main Bitcoin. Consensus can say Bitcoin BTC is the best. But if you're a black swan thinker, you can say, okay, if I have 3 Bitcoin, I'm also going to have 3 Bitcoin SV. Just so that if something ever happened, I have hedged myself and I'll profit from the black swan effect. This is just an example. I'm not talking about what I did or what I'm doing. I'm just giving you an example. You need to hedge yourself and think about things that are less likely to happen. Are very, very difficult to predict, but it's not like they're not predictable at all, because even the economic crash in 2008, we had people that have been preaching about the crash and they made money off it by shorting. All right, so that is it from me, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something from this. I would like to hear your opinion about this. In what you think about the black swan, in which areas do you think it can also be applied, and what other black swan events can you predict that will happen in the future, whether in the cryptocurrency market or in your life or in the world as a whole? Do you think humanity will blow itself up with what do you call them, nuclear bombs, or the earth will still be around, or humanity will be around for the next 500,000 years? Never know. So you guys let me know in the comments. Remember, if you want to get started with cryptocurrencies, the links are in the description below. You can sign up on Coinbase if you're in America, Luno, or Valor in South Africa. Especially Valor, it's an absolutely cool exchange that just started. And if you are a trader, you want to get started with cryptocurrency trading, the link to Binance is in the description, like I said to you guys. So thank you for watching. Stay awesome.